So the Glock 43X, I think, has been one of the most interesting micro compact plus long grip looking slimline guns on the market, mainly because when the Glock made it, they made it with a lot of like Glock standards, including using their polymer magazines when everybody else had been switching to kind of a metal magazine setup, which you can get a little bit wider. You can do the 1.5 stack and be able to get a few more rounds in the gun. Glock 43X natively comes with 10-round magazines, polymer mags, and the market had to answer that question with, like, say, the Shield Arms mags, which people had questions and issues with, but those can go up to 15 rounds. My personal favorite, and what we have in this gun today, the Palmetto State Armory mags that are designed for the dagger, which have a polymer front and metal housing around it, so you can go wide and get extra ammo, but still have the proper materials to interface with the native Glock textures. And of course, that's a big deal, right? If not, you would have to get like an extended mag, which is fine, but now we're going from kind of long to like very long. Can we not do that, especially considering SIG had been able to get up to 17 rounds in their gun? 17, guys, come on. Am I asking for too much? I don't think so. But let's talk about where we've gone from there. So now we've been able to, with the recent release of the Afterburner Ramjet, we've been able to answer another problem, right? Because Palmetto State answered the problem, in my opinion, with the magazines, but Radian fixed an issue with how freaking snappy this gun was under normal fire. It was significantly snappier, in my opinion, than a lot of guns. Of course, if you went up to the Glock 48, I think it was good, but for the 43X, just it was extremely snappy, and I think Glock kind of overtunes the guns to be a little snappier for reliability, to make sure that it's punching through and sending all of that ammo home. And I think that's a good thing, but also unfortunate for the end user, especially those who have a harder time handling recoil, or those who want to go really fast with a skinny gun. Introduce the Afterburner Ramjet. Let's get a little closer on that. The Afterburner Ramjet, I think, is a really nice addition to this gun, and once you shoot it, I think you'll understand how night and day it is when we're talking about taking all the chaos out of this gun. In addition to that Afterburner Ramjet, because they make the barrels too, and they interface via a tiny little locking screw on the side, so it's 50 state compliant. No threaded barrels are required, but SIG also kind of answered the question of how do we handle the Magwell situation, because it doesn't have some of the traditional stuff like the screw in the back or anything like that. So once we they answered that question by having basically something that fills this port, expands claws outward, and once you tighten that down and slide the locking mechanism on with the pins, it's on there really good. It's not coming off. You can try your best, it's not coming off. That's fantastic, and it funnels all the way around. A lot of these magazines and ones that you've seen on the channel in the past have a nice cutoff point right there where it's kind of jagged, and it doesn't allow you to smoothly insert the gun into the magwell should you miss. Magwells like these give you a little bit of grace, not just a nice ledge, but it gives you basically a little bit of backup when you screw up your reloads. That said, we still have the Tyrant CNC trigger installed. I think it's good enough to get the job done, and I think completely underrated. You've got to have this on your gun if you're going to be shooting, and I don't have it on all my guns, but I think at some point I will. The TLR-7 sub, which gives you a little bit more weight up front and gives you illumination, so when you're shooting in low light scenarios, you can be absolutely sure of what you're shooting at, and I think that's important. Got to take a look at that bronze barrel. Like, that thing just looks nice, especially with that magwell at the bottom, just really complements it. The last thing on here that we have to talk about is the Holosun EPS carry, which has been sold out forever, and I think is one of those optics that it's popular for a reason. It's got the solar panel backup. This one comes in green dot. In fact, it comes in the multiple reticle system, so you can kind of decide what kind of dot you like. So you can go into a circle dot with a dot, or just 32 MOA circle, and then kind of go back to standard. So in my opinion, I think this is the best possible setup for your Glock 43X and Glock 48. In fact, the Glock 48 actually shoots better, but to put it all together, we put it in a North Coast tactical holster. This one's got kind of a camo pattern with a little bit of purple splashed in there, and I think it's pretty cool. And of course, there we have the this really nice one that we just had done with North Coast Tactical. This is the carbon fiber orange one, and that's for my X macro. Let's get to shooting before it gets too late, huh? Quick note about training and shooting. If you're shooting and training and doing the cool guy thing, but you're not using a shot timer, then I'm not sure how fast you really are. And, you know, you got to be able to measure that kind of stuff. What gets measured gets improved. What gets measured gets improved, yes. So if you're interested in shot timer, Shooters Global sent this one over a while back, and I think it's really cool. It's got some of the best controls that I've seen in shot timers. I've run a few different ones. This one has the best controls, plus it's got smartphone integrations, so you can set things up on your phone beforehand, and you can also share your times with your buddies, stuff like that. It's a pretty cool training tool. Yes, it's expensive, but this is the best out there in my opinion. There are others. That said, get back to shooting. Okay, so I think, as you've seen, this may be the best possible situation for the Glock 43X. And really, just with the way the compensator brings everything together, and even the Magwell grip, this thing is pretty freaking nice, and it shoots super soft. I think it allows you to do what you would not otherwise be able to do with this gun. And I shot it in low light. Hopefully I can show you guys some of those images too. It doesn't introduce too much flash. In fact, I think it's about the same as if it was not a compact gun, which is a big concern for guys who are shooting comped for concealed carry. Is hey, if I'm shooting at night for some reason, worst day of my life, am I going to be able to see, or is it going to blind me? Regular firearms and comped guns, they do produce a certain amount of light, and I think this will not be too much, in my opinion. That's just my opinion though. If you're interested in picking something like this up, we don't sell firearms at all on any of my channels, but we will have a build list of the different parts that you can kind of put together your 43X and kind of see if maybe there are one or two or multiple parts of this that you're just like, yeah, this is it. And the way we're going to do it, you're going to be able to help the show out at no additional cost, which is great. That said, I think the only thing I don't love, and this is something that we run into with a lot of barrel situations, is this. On the first batch, I think there were some that didn't have the perfect DLC coating, and you can kind of see where that top hood did get marred up. I asked the guys at Radian about that, and they were like, hey, listen, we've seen that on some of them, and we're getting that corrected for the next batch. If for some reason you picked one up and it happened to you, it's not going to impact the performance, but if it did happen, the coatings on all their parts are guaranteed for life, of the lifetime warranty of the coating. So they said they will take care of me and anybody else who has the issue. Hopefully you don't have the issue, but I did need to let you guys know that as an honest reviewer, that potentially that could happen. What else? Nothing else. go check out Gun Club Radio, the YouTube channel. That's my podcast. We're doing something fun there. When I say fun, you're gonna like it a lot. All right, guys, peace.